a hot flash. Is it hot in here or is it me? Hi, I'm Nancy Levine.
And I'm Robin Siegel Lakin. Here we are in beautiful downtown New York City.
With our special guest, Matt Bridgestone. Is that your real name, Matt?
No.
Really?
Really.
What's your real last name?
Richelson. Yeah. It's weird. It's hard to spell, and there's an extra E in there, and I was doing a show when I first started. I've been doing this like 22 years, so I was like a year in.
Wait, we didn't even ask you that. Go, baby, go.
He's an overachiever.
He's a proactive guest. You do it. We'll just sit here and listen. Go ahead.
No snorting allowed.
Was that a snort? Oh, my God.
Go.
That's so attractive, especially on a woman. Go ahead, Matt.
That was a sneeze, not a snort.
No, basically, a friend called the club and said, I want to put my friend Matt on. And he was like, who the fuck is Matt? You know? And he thought of a tire. First thing that popped into his head. So I became Matt Bridgestone, and my other comedy friend at the time was Jeremy Dunlop. And Bridgestone just kind of stuck, and it's easy to say and remember, so,
It's so nondescript. I mean, maybe people will think you're of the family.
I wish. I have no money, so that's not part of that family.
So
Wait, so what's your real last name again?
Richelson.
Richelson. Good switch.
Yeah,
I like
you know what? But
Bridgestone.
Matt Richards would have been good too.
There
That's
is
like
a Matt Richards.
Oh, there is a
already.
Matt Richards.
Ah.
How about a Richard Matt?
It's like that drag queen. What is it?
Yeah,
Sailor,
really.
Sailor something?
Yeah, sailor song.
Sorry, Sailor. Somebody. I hope she fucking casts you now.
Yeah.
So tell us about Atlantic City. What's been going
Wait,
on
that's
there?
right. Matt works in Atlantic City and produces shows. They're comedy shows.
Yeah. What's going on in
Tell
Atlantic
us.
City? A lot of prostitution. A lot of drugs. Oh, what's going on with me in Atlantic City? Oh,
I thought that was what was going on with you.
That's fair.
No, in Atlantic City, he has another name. It's called John.
We are doing this thing down there. It snowballed. I went to AC myself. Found an ad on Craigslist about 5 years ago. It was this place called the Grand Fromage, which sounds real fancy, but it means the big cheese.
Yes.
And it was
Yeah, I was going to say it sounded like cheese.
Yeah, it was just this dive bar, and I was telling people, I'm like, I'm gonna go do shows at the Grand Fromage in Atlantic City, and like relatives were hugging me for the first time in years, and everyone was fucking so proud of me, and I'm like, you don't understand, like there's crackheads there. And so I just went there, and it turned out, better than expected, and all these people showed up. I was like, wow, there's something to this AC thing, so started messing with that, got into Scores Gentlemen's Club. Yeah.
Scores,
That
wow.
was the first big casino room that I busted through. That was interesting. It saved my comedy career and ruined my marriage, but no.
I so fucking get that. I'm with you, honey.
What are you gonna do? No, it was a cool spot, but then the Taj closed. Wherever I go, it just closes. So I don't know.
You think it's you?
I think it is.
I think you should have kept your real name.
Cursed. And they closed, went to this little mall by Caesars, and then things started to snowball when a lot of these comics from New York came down and started, joining me and helping me put it all together. And then that's when we just said, let's all make this team effort thing, and then we all teamed up to form AC Jokes, and that's when we got into Tropicana and Bally's, and we'll see where else it goes.
That's fabulous.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty
That's
cool.
great.
That's great. So how long have you been doing stand-up for?
I started when I was 19 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck, it's been a long time.
So did you not go to college? Did you leave college to pursue this fabulous stand-up?
I'm technically still
career.
a junior at Rutgers University. I have
Oh, I went to Rutgers University.
I have my 60 credits, so I'll be a junior for the rest of my life because I'm not going back. You graduated.
Yeah, I graduated.
Yeah, no, not so much. I was, I don't know.
What was your major at Rutgers? Communications?
I think HBO and masturbation was where most of my time
He met up with some alumni at Scores.
This was before Scores. Yeah. Communication, I guess, which I communicate.
That's
now,
a real
so
useful degree.
It was all fucking pie charts that I didn't understand and stuff. So I don't know. I just started working in restaurants and doing jokes. Yeah.
So you were married for how long?
Here we go. Robin dives right in. She was
I want
like,
the
"We're gonna
skivvy,
talk."
sweetie.
She goes right in. I was married for too long. That's how. No. My ex is cool. We're fighting today. She told me I can't go to my kid's birthday party, but we'll figure that
Oh,
out.
that's unacceptable. What's your ex's name? That's
Unacceptable.
What's her name?
Let's call her up right now.
Wait.
Bitch.
Call her up. I want to talk to the bitch.
No.
What's her name?
I'm
You know
not
what?
gonna
He
throw
doesn't
her
want to
under
give
the
us your
bus.
name.
Her name is.
Give it. LeBron.
Okay, well,
he doesn't
gee,
want to tell
yeah,
us.
that sounds fake. Yeah.
Listen, he can go to his kid's fucking birthday party. You got it? Any court of law would allow that.
She
Go
flies
ahead.
off the handle. I'll reel her back in. It's fine. We were married for like a year, but
It's so obvious why it didn't work.
yeah, it didn't work out because I
But
don't
you have a
work
beautiful
out, that's
daughter.
why.
I've seen pictures of your daughter on Facebook.
Oh,
She's
cool.
so
You're a
pretty.
fucking
How old
stalker
is
on
she?
I
top
am a
of it. I didn't
stalker.
realize.
Of course, I'm the worst.
She's gonna be 6 next week.
You think I have guests on this show
Aw.
without doing a background check first?
She's gonna be 6. This is cool. Her mom and her are 1 day apart, but they're both Thanksgiving. But this is crazy. She was born at 4:44 in the morning, and Jay-Z had an album come out 444. I'm like, what's I keep seeing 444? And so I was like, what does this number mean? And I looked it up, and it's all about like angels watching over you, and you're on the right path in life, and this and that. Right? So it was weird. Her name's Willow, right? So I didn't know. I mean,
Oh, her name is Willow. That's such
Willow.
a pretty name.
And I look at the website. The name of the website was Willow's Soul. Just like a
Oh, that's so
weird.
weird.
Coincidence.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I didn't
Wow.
So
expect
how
that.
often do you get to see Willow?
I
Every day except
Yeah,
her
except-
fucking
except-
birthday.
Except her birthday.
Aw.
No, I'll work it out. She's gonna need me to come to the birthday. 'Cause
When she's 18, she'll have choices,
Well,
Matt. She will have choices.
LeBron can't afford to pay for it herself, so I'm sure I'll be at the party.
So that gives you a little leverage,
Yeah,
baby.
I'll figure it out. I'll crash the party. What was the question? I forgot. Well, how often do I see her? Oh, I try
Yes.
to see her at least once a week, hopefully more.
Oh, you're a
you
good
know.
dad. That's
I'm
good.
the best. I'm the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I have
Very
3 children.
nice.
Nancy has 3.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. It's like a lesbian Brady Bunch. It's nice.
Here's a story.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you just call us lesbians, Nancy.
Well, I am wearing my
Now-
lesbian.
now
I'm
wait.
wearing my lesbian
She does.
outfit today.
Now,
My-
now,
my,
that,
uh,
now that
my
would
jacket.
be now that would be an upgrade.
She's got on her
My lesbian smoking jacket.
her 1980 Melanie Griffith working girl.
I know. Oh, that's such a good reference.
Yeah,
To me, it looks like a nice. I said to
I'm
her,
ashamed of you guys because you were trying to think of the opening theme song to the Golden Girls and you didn't even know it. and
I
knew it.
know. What the hell is wrong
"Go ahead,
with
sing it
us?
for us, Matt. Sing it out."
I'm not gonna do that, but I will say that if you two threw a party, I would be there.
We're having a party.
Is it a birthday party? I'm not allowed to go to any. I would love to come to yours.
You're officially invited. We're having the
Apparently, he's on the list.
Really? Is it? What
Yeah,
is it?
everybody that is a guest on the Hot Flash podcast is invited to the Hot Flash holiday party. And after this show is over, you will get an invitation.
Yes, and it's 1920s theme, so we're gonna have beer in the bathtub, gin in the
No,
bathtub.
we're not. We're not going to have
No
gin in the
bathtub. I said beer, gin in the bathtub, gin.
So you
Ooh,
have to dress up from the 1920s.
very Gatsby.
Very
Okay.
Gatsby.
All right, I'm down.
You don't have to. You could still come if you don't dress up.
Who's gonna be there? I
We're gonna,
Lots of fun people. Tata
don't know.
might be there.
The hot flashes chicks.
yeah. I heard Willow's coming. I heard the bitches let her go for the 20s party.
I love women who've gone through their hot flashes because you don't have to wear condoms, you know.
Yeah, but you can still get diseases. You know, you have to
Oh,
be
well,
careful.
yeah.
Come on, there's diseases. I have this fight with my 25-year-old daughter, but you don't understand. There are diseases out there.
Well, the
Doesn't
worst
matter if you're on the
disease-
pill. There's diseases.
Rampant.
The most expensive disease to catch is another kid. So that's the only thing I don't-
Willow, he didn't mean that. And one day when
Besides
you listen
Willow.
to this, you'll know his intentions
Willow
were good.
will not be listening to this. No, she will not. I don't hear you.
So are you an actor also, or are you just strictly a stand-up?
I'm mostly a stand-up. I've done some light acting, but no, I don't know. I feel like I could be a good actor, but I'm just cocky in that way, and I've never.
Oh, I think most stand-up comedians. I think you have to be an actor when you're on
No
stage.
reason to
doing
believe
stand-up.
that I could be a good actor. I never took any classes. I've barely acted in anything. But yeah, it is. Stand-up is a bit of a acting.
I know I'm acting when I'm up. I'm acting like a stand.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, because Nancy and I predominantly we were actresses, and you started in stand-up, no, you started in acting. You were a theater major at Rutgers, right?
A lot of theater. Yeah.
Oh. And I studied with Lee Strasberg.
Were you on what's the acting in Rutgers? Douglas Camp? No.
Mason Gross School of the Arts. Yeah, I went there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was too busy studying with Lee Strasberg and Stella Adler.
And
I actually.
I did until I left and got pregnant and had a lot of kids. Things were going swimmingly, actually.
I actually got kicked out after my third year of Mason Gross. Yeah.
Wait, Nancy, you never told me that. Tell me.
Not dropped.
This should be a good
Thrown
story.
out.
Like given the boot.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was very traumatic. They kick out after every year. They don't do that anymore. But back then in the 80s, it was really fucked up. They did it after freshman year. They kicked out about 12 kids. And then sophomore year, they kicked out some more kids. And then junior year, they kicked out about 3 of us. And they said, oh, well, you don't have enough to make it in the business. And I'm the only one that's left out of the class that's in the business.
I just read a story.
I'm the only one that survived.
It's still in entertainment.
No, I just read a story about a British actor.
Yeah, they didn't like comics. They didn't like the funnier actors. And they just... it was very traumatic. Yeah,
I can't remember. There's some very famous British actor in his 50s, I think, or even I think in his 60s, who auditioned, I guess, for all the big acting programs in London. Didn't get into one. They told him to pick another business, and he's a huge celebrity now.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it is. He's in his, I'd say, 50s or 60s now.
And I can't say I'm the only one that's left, but I'm one of the only.
Well, you know, Lucille Ball got kicked out of the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Yeah,
they told her to go home. You're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucille Ball.
Yeah. So,
go
figure.
Those days,
fuck them.
I know, fuck them. In those days, you had to look like you could sell a Dove soap on television. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your life. I met you at New York Comedy Club. So you were doing. How did you hook up with that? That was a disastrous night. I was totally.
Did you think this was going to be easy with Robin?
No,
that was a fucked up night. I was awful that night. Tell me how you like. You know, I went back there and did this phenomenal set, and that the woman who's what's her name now? The woman who's
Amy?
booking now. Yeah. I was told ahead of time, don't have too many hopes. She doesn't really pass many older comics, so yeah.
Age discrimination.
I know, and I did a much better set when you saw me. I don't know what happened to me then. So, how did you hook up with New York Comedy Club? How did the whole thing go down?
Well, one of my college buddies, it was weird. He was getting married, and because I was putting these shows on at the Taj Mahal at the time, it was just, the shows were a matter of just whatever I could do to get a crowd. So I said to my buddy who was getting married, I'm like, why don't you do stand-up for your bachelor party? Well, our friends will come out, I'm like, well,
what a whore you are.
I made it a bringer, right? I made it a bringer.
A bringer at the bachelor party.
Yeah.
I know, right? Anything for money, go.
So him and my other friend did it, and my other friend was doing the accounting for New York Comedy Club at the time. So he was like, hey, I'm performing at the Taj Mahal. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? You're not even a comic. He's like, yeah, but my buddy Matt, blah, blah, blah. So that's how we kind of put the whole thing together.
That's when Al owned the club, right? Al doesn't own the club anymore.
No, different people.
Oh.
So they hit me up, and we had a little run. We got divorced also.
Yeah, I hear that about a lot of people there. Just saying.
But they let me see Willow. So.
Now I'm saying that not Nancy, New York Comedy Club. So you can hate me, do not hate her.
I don't know. So that was that. We tried to do some stuff in AC together. They just had a different vision of what I was seeing, being there. And I had this.
Theirs sucked and yours was good.
I was gonna refrain from saying that because I'm a classy person, but that's when Nancy just swoops right in and just says the real gutter Jewish shit. And this is why she got kicked out of Mason Gross. She just takes the gloves right off.
So are you performing a lot in AC? You perform on your shows, I gather.
Every freaking day, yeah. The whole reason I do all this is so that I could just go on. Like, I'm never wanted to really even be this, like, club runner person, this, that. Right. That's not what I wanted to do when I was, like, a kid and I was like, I want to be a comic. But, yeah, I mean, I get more stage time in Atlantic City than most comics out in New York that have, like, HBO specials because... it's just there's like 10 of us down there, and we just get to do it every day. I mean,
and you get to perform at the big clubs, right?
You mean down there?
Yeah.
I've passed myself at all the rooms. I've approved myself to play Bally's and all that.
That's great.
Yeah. It was a tough audition, but I passed.
Did you have to sleep with yourself to pass it?
Apparently he does that a lot.
Yeah, really. Was your right hand jealous of your left?
It's my girl, Pamela Henderson.
I like that. That's funny. So now, where did you grow up?
Originally, I'm from Heaven. No. Brooklyn, New York, Canarsie.
So did I. Brooklyn. She said Bay. Get out. Where did you go to Canarsie High School?
No, my brothers did. I moved when I was like 12.
Did your parents divorce you too?
They kicked him out.
Yeah, I went to Mason Gross. There was a slot open apparently when.
Touche. So wait, so where did you go to where did you move to after Canarsie?
Moved to Manalapan, New Jersey.
I live in Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Live in Wayne. Don't listen to any stalkers out there, but go ahead.
Yeah. I went to Manalapan High School, then Rutgers, then...
The real Jersey roots. That's the real Jersey
I never really felt, like, connected to that part of Jersey. It was... In Brooklyn, you were judged on, like, your personality. In Jersey, in Central Jersey, it was more about, like, how much money you had. And
right.
In
Brooklyn, you were judged on how hard you could punch or how good you could take a punch.
Yeah. No, it just became more like materialistic in Jersey, and I just.
No, I loved growing up in Brooklyn. I grew up in Sheepshead Bay. I loved growing up
I caught
there.
the tail end of the good shit, like like the playing stoop ball and like going.
No, you're too young for that.
No, I did all that stuff.
Really?
I'm the last guy that did any of it. I feel like I'm telling you, I caught like.
Man.
I still remember, changing the channel with the little dial and all that shit.
Yes, and a rotary phone. Do you remember rotary phones?
Rotary phone. I saw a funny skit on Ellen where they try to show like
I saw that
millennials and they could use a rotary phone.
But I didn't see it while it was on. I saw it like someone had posted it on Facebook. Right. Because I actually fucking do things during the day.
What do you do? What the hell do you do during the day?
Well, I audition. Nancy and I both have managers. We do acting auditions. I shot a commercial last Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, Nancy's been getting called back for everything. And she's producing a show.
Oh, yes,
I
have.
Yes, she has. And she's got a show she's producing now. You want to talk about your show?
Yes.
Since you just had auditions today, Mrs. Producer.
Very exciting. Yes. Well, I've been producing a show, Housewives of Secaucus, for the past 3 years, which I was also in. I played Anita Martinez.
And if any of you are out there who follow us, we had the women on the show a few episodes ago.
Yes, we did.
It's a good show.
But we're doing a complete change. We're making it Housewives of Secaucus in drag.
Okay.
Well, what a drag.
But what a drag. So we had auditions today, and I found some good people. We're going to have callbacks on Wednesday, and it's going to be done at APAP, which is the Association of Performing Arts Professionals, in January, January 11th on my birthday. And then we're going to do it in the cabaret circuit. We're going to do it at the, how do you pronounce it, Triad?
Triad.
At the Triad in the city on the Upper
Which
West
I think that's
Side.
an off-Broadway house, isn't it? Or is it
I
off
think
Broadway?
it technically
it's off-Broadway,
is,
technically, right.
So I'm going to look into that, and it lends itself to being
It's a
done
great
in
show.
drag.
I saw it. I saw her do it.
I
It was
like it. I
great.
think,
Very exciting.
I think that takes a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Matt, you're just on fucking fire tonight.
For somebody who doesn't technically have any balls, I have a lot of balls.
Yeah. A big fuck you to Mason and Gross.
They could kick me out of Mason Gross, but I have a lot of
But
balls.
they can't kick you out of this podcast.
Yeah.
I won't let them.
But my son is so funny. He's 15. He's like, Mom, I do not support you in this. He's at that sensitive age.
Was he a homophobe? Nancy.
Seems like it.
No.
No, he's a great kid. But he's at that sensitive age. Where they...
Maybe he hasn't come out. No, I'm kidding, Ben. I'm totally fucking kidding. Don't hate your mother and don't hate me. It's not her fault that when she drinks she talks too much.
I don't think he's.
I'm kidding.
I don't think he's.
No, he loves you because you gave him those peeps. What are they called? The marshmallow.
Oh,
peeps?
the Easter peeps.
The
yeah.
Easter peeps. Yeah, so he loves you.
This nice Jewish girl from Brooklyn gave him Easter peeps. He's actually a really, really nice. He's very fine.
He's like, tell
very
Robin I
finely
love
raised.
her.
Oh, tell him I love him too. Tell him I'm really a man. I have a penis. Benny, what are you doing after basketball practice on Thursday?
God.
What did I get myself into?
God.
Matt, have you done a lot of podcasts?
Not anymore. This will probably be the last one. No.
Did we traumatize you?
We traumatized you.
I've done.
Did your mother not love you? But
my mom.
Apparently,
my mom loves
your
me too
ex-wife
much.
doesn't.
When I broke up with my ex, I went to
Yeah.
live with my mom for a little, and then I decided it was easier to move back in with my ex because it was just
Really?
the worst living with my mom.
Why?
I love my mom because I
Yeah.
would fucking come in at like 3 a.m. and she'd be like drinking coffee and smoking
Waiting for
cigarettes.
you.
Like I couldn't sleep. I'm like, I've been doing this for the last 10 years. Like,
But you know that totally happens. Like when my kids went to college, like they were on their own. My daughter was in Tennessee. My son was in. They were all over.
yeah.
And then they would come home for holiday break, and I'd be sitting up with my husband
Yeah.
at like 3 a.m.
Worried.
Where the fuck were you? As soon as they walked into the door, and they'd be like, I live, in a dormitory. I can go and come as I please.
Neurotic Jewish Brooklyn
I
moms.
know.
Oh, I don't care. I just go right to bed.
Well, we know that, Nancy. 7 tequilas later, that looks good.
Right. Blacking out and going to bed is different.
I'm so glad you made that distinction, Matt.
Rumors, lies, and deceit.
Lions,
As I
tigers,
drink my
and bears.
water.
Ha-ha.
Laced with vodka.
So, are your parents still together? Are they-
No, my
So it runs in the
parents-
family.
Yeah.
Willow, beware.
Running runs in the family. No, they got divorced in the 80s, and it was a good call. They were one where everyone was like, you know what, that makes sense.
I hate when people say they stay together for the kids. That's bullshit. It's worse for the kids. It's traumatizing for the kids to stay together if it's not a good marriage. It's bad for the children.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. No, they're.
Does your mom live near you? Is she still in Manalapan?
Close. She's in Monroe, which is she lives in Stonebridge, and I'm Bridgestone.
Oh,
Not
that's
planned. Yeah, not planned.
You just have all these coincidences.
weird
Oh my God,
coincidences.
do you wear crystals?
I just went to a psychic and got some crystals.
Did you really go to a psychic?
I never even went before, but this girl was spot on. It was weird.
Really?
She said a lot of weird
I
stuff.
actually believe in psychics.
She
I
said
think
she was
that
gonna go,
yeah.
I was gonna go on a podcast with 2 Jewish chicks, and they were gonna pay me to be on the podcast, and then we were gonna have an orgy. I don't know.
Matt.
What happened?
Matt.
Is-
She was wrong.
All right, forget the money.
So tell us more about your life. Brothers and sisters. Tell me about your brothers, sisters.
I
You have 2.
2 brothers.
2 brothers.
You know.
Are they successful?
Did they get kicked out of the house too?
Someone in your family get divorced? He's looking to set them up. They're good. They ran a restaurant together for years, and then
nice.
one of them now retired from that, and the other one's still running it, and they do good.
What kind of restaurant is it?
It's a.
Give it a
You
plug.
guys are gonna flip. It's a kosher deli.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
wow. I could go for some kosher deli.
See?
Yeah,
I
Nancy's
knew
kosher
this.
in her house.
I knew I
She is-
shouldn't have
yeah.
gone
I'm
there.
forced upon it by marriage.
Are
But
you
when I
really?
came over her house, we had Chinese on paper plates. How more Jewish can you get?
Well, you know, my husband's one of those hypocritical Jews.
Right.
It's like we keep kosher. We have the dairy on one side and the meat on the other. But meanwhile, we eat Chinese food in the family room on paper plates.
Non-kosher Chinese, right?
Non-kosher,
Just regular
yeah.
ass Chinese
On
whatever.
paper
Like
towels.
we're talking pork fried rice, honey.
Right.
Yeah, it's like so hypocritical.
This makes him think he's a good person.
Well, he is a good person.
You know what
but
my
still.
husband says? So my husband was raised kosher. We don't keep a kosher house. But my husband was raised kosher. And he always said, my mother-in-law too, every generation, you have to do whatever you can. Like, it's better to do something than to do nothing. We did nothing. they chose to do something. Well, my kids were born bat mitzvah by by the threat of torture.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah,
that.
mine too. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, mine too. They went to Hebrew school and all, which was like torture for them, but they did it.
Yeah.
Matt, were you bar mitzvah?
It was the worst day of my life.
Really?
Well, like I said, we were.
Bubby, tell us about your bar mitzvah when you became a man.
So we were super poor. So I moved to New Jersey. First of all,
I mean, Allegan's a tough place if you have no money, right? You were just
brutal.
talking about that. Yeah.
So I was, first of all, I was like, I moved right around when I was supposed to have it. So I didn't have mine until I was like almost like 15.
Were you
So
retarded?
it was already.
I
yeah.
know that's not
Oh,
politically
that's
correct.
kind of embarrassing.
It was already like weird because I was like, already.
No, my son
like,
had his almost a year
Everyone had theirs
later.
like 2 years.
It was a bar mitzvah for special needs.
Yeah. Oh,
Everybody
boy.
got picked up on the small bus.
I hope you have that dump button ready.
We're joking, okay? So tell us about your bar
I
mitzvah.
love when people say terrible things and then they're like, "It's a joke," and like people are crying and lawsuits are flying, and they're just
No,
like,
Matt, we love you. We only bring people here we like. A lot of people want to do it, but we only bring people here we like.
Okay.
It's true.
That's fine. This is we're not famous enough for this to matter right now, so it's fine.
Well, we will be in a
Right
few
now.
weeks when we have our publicist. We actually hired a publicist, but go ahead.
So I was already like the old kid, and then we couldn't
The old
we couldn't afford to like join a regular like.
Well, temples are really expensive
Yeah,
to join.
so
they
we
are.
had it.
We had
this,
that in
like,
Brooklyn too. We couldn't afford it.
Oh my god, we had it in this like super religious place where it was like a 4-hour service all in Hebrew and like
Oh, was it Orthodox? It was.
it was brutal.
shul.
And
Yeah.
like some of my like friends showed like these 2 girls that were, not Jewish were there for the whole thing, and I was
They were trying to be polite.
they were trying to be polite, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then the other problem was I wanted to invite about 25 kids,
Right.
but my mom was like, we only have enough money to invite like 8. So like, the kids that weren't invited were like, hey, thanks for not inviting me. And then the kids that went were like, this bar mitzvah sucks.
So I have a worse story. I grew up in Brooklyn. My father was.
Aw.
I'm trying to make this funny, and you guys are just like, this was really
No,
tragic.
I have a worse story. No, I loved my parents. My father was a cab driver. He owned a medallion. And we lived in an apartment building in Brooklyn. And my parents were both raised very religiously. My grandfather was a cantor. My father's father, well, he did other things, like selling fruit on the street
Wow.
on the Lower East Side, but he was a cantor.
Good to see those morals were passed down to you.
I'm just morally flawed. What can I tell you? But I'm a great lay. No. Don't listen. I can't tell my husband. My husband doesn't even listen to these shows anymore. So
Is he listening?
no, he
listen
doesn't
to these?
listen. No,
Oh,
never, never. He would be mortified. I told him, don't listen. He would be mortified. He's a great guy, my husband, and I don't want to traumatize him anymore. But when I was growing up, all of my cousins were bar and bat mitzvah, and except my sister and I. We didn't go to Hebrew school. We weren't bat mitzvah. Were you bat mitzvah?
No.
No, neither was I. And my parents used to say, well, our parents were religious, Orthodox. The religious didn't bat mitzvah girls, but all my cousins were all bat mitzvah.
Well, maybe if you were, you wouldn't have gotten kicked out of college.
I didn't. You're talking about the wrong person. She's the one.
I
that
She
got
said
kicked
she
out.
wasn't bombing.
I was not kicked out of college. Nor was I kicked out of medical school, by the way.
Yeah, you just kicked
I'm,
out of
I'm,
your
a,
house.
I'm a Jewish doctor. I was the first.
really?
I am. I was an actor starting from the time I was like 13-ish. I did a lot. I worked all the time. And then I had a pretty big age, and I moved to L.A. I was with Lee Mars in L.A. Don
Nice.
Buchwald, yes. I worked a lot. I did over like
You
a
were
lot.
with the agency or the men?
No, I was with the
Oh,
agency
okay.
too. I worked a lot as a kid, when I was a youngster. And then I decided I just wanted to change my life in my late 20s. And I was still with Buchwald in New York, with Tom Buchwald. And I don't know what happened. I just decided I want something different. So I never graduated college. So I went back to Hunter in the city. I was in an honors program, and then I took my pre-meds. And my luck, I got into medical school. I went to Einstein, but I never practiced. So I have my medical degree hanging in our house. But yeah, I hated medical school. I wanted to quit like 20 times.
You went through the whole thing, finished, and then did it
and I never became practicing.
You know, Jewish women find new ways to blow money. It's
I know, right? I know.
And the
thing, when I went, because I'm older, you know, when I went, the big question for women was they didn't want to let women into a lot of medical in the day because they felt like women would just get married and have kids and stop their practice.
Which is what she did.
Which is what I fucking did. People always think I met my husband in a bar because my husband's a doctor, but I didn't. I mean, I met him in a bar. People always think I met him in medical school. But, you know, and they say to me, what does your mother think? You
have any headshots from back in the day?
I already what?
Any headshots?
Oh, yeah, I do. You want to see my headshots from back in the day? Oh, my God. Nancy, talk while I look for my headshot.
Okay, yes.
Kill
time.
Sing for us. Sing, baby. Let it out. Hold on. Hold on. I'll show you. You want to see me as an infant? No. No, I'll show you my headshot. And I'm really going to show you my headshot from the day if I can find. Oh, here it is. You're not going to believe it.
Oh, boy.
I know.
You look like Charlie's Angels.
She does.
I did over 50 commercials in the day. Yeah.
Nice.
I know. But I wanted to be Robert De Niro. That's what I wanted to be. I was a pretty good actress.
You wanted to be a serious actress.
Yes, I was a serious actress, you know. But I my dream was to be like, you know, the female
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, right. But things happen.
You have a podcast.
We have a podcast. And we're talking to Matt Bridgestone.
Yeah, so fuck you, Mason Gross. I have a podcast.
Who's here under an alias name, Bridgestone. No, he's not Bridgestone Tires. Yeah, we enjoy doing the podcast. I think it's fun.
We always have
a lot of fun on the show. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had your own podcast?
We're doing this little podcast we just started, actually, the AC Jokes podcast. And
oh, good.
We did.
Now you get to humiliate people.
I guess. I don't know. It's new. We just did one so far.
Right.
And then we were doing 1400 AM radio down there a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's cool.
That's good. Yeah, AM. Who listens to AM radio?
No one. That's the problem.
Willow.
Yeah.
Your mom.
No,
so what kind of? So you were talking about your mom before in your relationship with your mother.
Yeah.
Was she smothering? She's smothering Jewish mother.
Oh, the worst. I love my mother. She's one of my dearest and closest friends.
I love that you say that.
Aww.
She's a pain in the
That's
ass,
why you're a
though.
good father because you had good parenting. That's good.
Mom's cool. She loves me too much.
But she's a pain in the ass because she loves you.
Me too much.
Well, that's a good problem.
Is there such a thing as too much? I mean, really?
I guess. I don't know.
Aww.
I can't stay at her house.
I mean, unless she's still breastfeeding you, it's not too much.
Aww. That's so cute.
I know, it's cute that she. Well, that's how Jewish mothers are. You know
it's
that.
adorable.
If I don't talk to her for 3 days, I get you never call me.
Right.
I
do that to my daughter too.
Like, I don't talk to anybody every 3 days. Like,
and my son, my son too. He doesn't. My son doesn't pick up the phone a lot because he does a lot of work on the phone. And when I have to call him like 6, 7 times before he picks up the phone.
I call my kids once a week, every Sunday.
I know, you told me that. That's unbelievable. I have to talk to my kids at least every other day or I'm like freaking out. Like I think they're dead or something.
So see, I'm not smothering.
No, you're cool.
I should meet your mother. We'd have a lot in common.
Can you adopt me, Nancy?
Nancy is cool. She's a very cool mom. Like she's like
every
cool.
Sunday I called them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. But my parents, when I lived in LA, I used to live in LA. When I lived there, my parents used to call me once a week because in those days there were long distance charges.
Well, I figured they have lives and they're busy, and but
I'm sorry, my children have no lives. I am their life. No, my kids they do pretty good.
Where'd you live in LA?
Let's see, when I first went out there, I was visiting a friend from acting school, Erica. Hi, Erica. Who's now back in New York as well. I stayed with her in West Hollywood. She was dating a guy in a band. The band had a band house right by the Whiskey. So she had her own little place.
Whiskey A Go Go?
Whiskey A Go Go.
I never went there.
Yeah. Well, this band, they used to be called the Daily Planet. Anyway, I don't want to plug them. They're broken up now anyway. They all do
fuck them.
They're all still in music, but apparently, according to Erica, but they all do different things.
Yeah.
So I stayed with her for a while. Then the manager, I was only supposed to go out there for 2 weeks, and then I had an apartment on 83rd.
Were you doing comedy at all?
No, just acting, just commercials and acting. And I was on a soap for a while. I was an actress.
Acting, a lot of cocaine.
No. I was straight as an arrow. I'll be honest with you. I was really good. I mean, I was at the Playboy Mansion a couple of times because they used to have.
So she was just flashing her tits
Listen
around,
to
but
me.
no
Have-
coke.
No. I had
everyone
a friend.
inside, but,
She was having everybody sniff coke off her boobs, but she wasn't doing it herself.
But anyway, so the band manager and his wife, who worked for Capitol Records, they lived in the Fairfax district. So I rented a space from them, and then I met a woman. This is a true story. She lived right in West Hollywood on San Vicente, and they had these like little shacks. Actually, Jimmy Cagney, that was the big claim to fame of those little shacks, had lived there when he first moved to L.A. And she was the manager of the little shacks. And one of the girls who had been living there she used to be a dancer on the Flip Wilson show, the girl who lived in this particular shack.
Flip Wilson.
Yeah, and then she went on the road with Alvin. Yeah, right. She was a dancer on that show.
Talk about drag.
This girl's name was Vivian, and she was going on the road with Alvin Ailey, so they needed a sublet for the place. So I took the sublet, and turns out the manager, her name was Madeline, who got me the place, who managed this little place that she lived for free, was also Marlon Brando's secretary.
Oh, boy.
It's a true story. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know. Everyone who lived in the development, like my neighbor was the dresser for Hill Street Blues, and they were all in the business in some angle of the business, actors or people, mostly behind the scenes people.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very cool time, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I ended up. I lived in Fairfax. Then I lived there, and then I really miss New York. And I was subletting my place on 83rd and West End, and I told my roommate not to put her name on the mailbox, and she put her name on the mailbox, and my landlord found out, and I got in a lot of trouble. That person who was my roommate at the time is still a good friend, and she lives now in California. Her husband is a DP, a very successful DP. He's been up Emmy Awards, yeah. But she was my roommate and she's an actress, and so she was my roommate for a long time. So I have no begrudgment of her for putting her name on the mailbox and almost getting kicked out of my fucking apartment. But no, I see her when I go out to LA, and she sees me when she's in New York, so it's nice. So I came back to New York, and that happened. And at the same time, I got a notice that I wasn't allowed to sublet. I was at a bar in Venice Beach with some actor friends, and Frank Sinatra was singing "Start Spreading," can't make this shit up, the news. And I started crying hysterically, and I said, what am I doing here? I need to be back in New York. So I called my New York agent. I said, I'm coming back. They said, good. And I came back.
The actual Frank Sinatra, or you heard the...
No, it was on like a jukebox. I was in some dive bar in Venice Beach.
I was confused.
No, and I started crying at the bar. I was like, it was my 20s. I was young. But I did go to Hefner's house a couple times.
And she was drunk. That's why she was crying.
I wasn't a big drinker. I moved back here.
And her children ruined her dreams. No, I'm
just
kidding.
No.
Too much.
After mistake number 1, and then mistake number 2 came along.
Well, we're not going to go there.
And then mistake number 3.
She has to love her kids.
My kids are good. Actually, my oldest son was an actor for a while now, for many, many years. Now he's doing business. And my daughter works for Viacom. And my middle son he was a health science major in college, but he does ticket sales, and he has his own business. He's actually
When did you get the
really
stand-up bug?
So about 10 years ago, maybe like 9.5, I decided I really wanted to go back to acting again. So I wanted to write. So I took a script interpretation, a writing class, not interpretation, writing class at HB Studios. And everything I wrote, they said it was funny. So I said, maybe I should take a stand-up class. The writing teacher told me that. And so I took a class with Linda Smith at Caroline's. And and
she's going to be on the show, right?
She's not. She canceled on us.
She's
going to be on the podcast.
That's what I meant.
The podcast, right? She's the head of she does the new talent at Caroline's, and she's a good friend of both of ours. So she's coming to do the show.
After this,
are you doing a set over there?
I'm doing the Monday Night Goot show.
Oh, Ray Goots. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. You got it. That's good. That'll be fun. Yeah. Well, Linda's doing our show in January, the end of January. But we both studied with her in the day, and then I wasn't going to go back to acting again, and I was at the comic strip, and Gladys Simon, who does the new talent there.
Yeah.
Do you know Gladys?
You know Gladys?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm very close with her.
The hamburger place.
The Hamburger Harry's, right. You did hamburger. Her husband passed away last week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was at the funeral. It was very, very sad. So, yeah, he was a wonderful human being. Anyway, she recommended me to a manager friend of hers. She used to be with ICM, and then she went out on her own. And I worked with her for a while. Then I signed with somebody else. And Nancy has another manager. We're both signed with people.
You guys are signed with people?
Yeah, not for comedy, for acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, for acting.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I mean, Roger Paul used to send me out for comedy when I first
Roger sent me
started.
somewhere for $75, and I had to send him $7.50.
Oh, really? Yeah, but he sent me when I was.
Why did you have to send him $7?
He took his rake, man. You know, he's like.
But he sent me when I was I was only doing comedy like a year when he sent me.
$7.50.
That's so funny.
Hey, man, that's 10%.
Yeah, but Gladys told him
adds
to
up.
send me, and so he sent me, and I'd only been doing comedy about a year, which was like, I wasn't ready to be doing the gigs he was sending me on.
Right.
He did it because I had a resume as an actress,
Okay.
so that I really flew that because
So you were going out and bombing and.
Yeah, basically, it was mommy. No, it was really dirty, is what I was. I was dirty at bananas. You can't be dirty at bananas in Poughkeepsie, forget it, or whatever.
Yeah, like,
That
They
seems so
told me
weird.
I was like really dirty. I was
you're an opening
hosted.
act. The headliner could be dirty.
Right. The
not-
headliner was Mike Dugan when I was there. He was great. So I was I was really. I mean,
Were they laughing?
They were hysterical, and the host told me great job, and then I was told I was too dirty. So
And you got kicked out.
Seems ridiculous.
I don't know. So
Everybody's
so are you
laughing,
working,
but you're too dirty. So
are
you're
you
not
like
allowed
working with a
back.
booker? Are you signed with somebody? I mean,
I'm
what?
my own thing, you know.
Well, you're a producer, so you don't have to have
That was
anybody.
my whole thing. I was like, why am I gonna like wait for someone else to get me shit if I could just, I did shows this year with Artie Lang and Gilbert Gottfried, but it's
I love Artie Lang.
It's like I put myself
Gilbert too,
on
yeah.
those shows. Like I'd
It's
rather
great.
make them. What manager is gonna get me on those shows?
Right.
So I might as well just
Yeah.
do it that way.
Well, I don't know how the stand-up managers work. I mean, I know how the acting managers work.
Yeah, they try to just like get you auditions so you get bigger stuff and then
Right.
give them a cut, I guess. But I don't know. I honestly, I really don't know how so much of that shit works because I always just did my own thing. I always
Right.
just kind of created my own way to do it. So
But that's
Yeah.
good.
I can't even answer a lot of like industry questions because I just.
But
said-
you've created your own industry,
That's
basically.
it.
I mean,
I
you're
just said,
cornering the
"Fuck it,
market
I'm
down
gonna
there.
do my
That's
own
great.
thing." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. I
That's a
love
good
it.
thing. And I saw you look at your phone. Are you looking at the time?
No, I'm
You
having
sweating?
a
Are you
blast.
sweating?
I just want to make sure that I'm not late for.
What time's
my
your
spot
spa
over
at the
there.
Carolines?
I could probably by like 8:30 if I'm there. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, Nancy, any other questions you have, darling? Or anything you want to
Nancy
talk
came
about?
down and we did this. This is really cool.
She's
if there's
great,
any
right?
comics
Me and
listening,
Tata won.
If you go to bookedmike.eventbrite.com, booked Mike, you could sign up. Where you get like 5-6 minute spot on our new talent show, but the comics that like win that
Right.
get to come and do the main stage that night at Bally's Casino. But the night she was there was like 3 of them that killed it. So
Oh, yes, 3 of us did.
I
Yeah.
just let them all go.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it
great.
was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Nancy, give me a hug
Aw.
and a hand job.
So what
but
happened?
her son was-
Well, Matt, that goes without saying.
Oh yeah, she's got that shaky hand. It's fucking
Ah,
awesome.
the tremor.
You picked it up. You picked it up. Oh, I like an observant human being. Our husband's happy. What do you call? Careful.
I wonder if I could list it as a disability and get some sort
No,
of
it's-
payment.
No,
it's- it's,
seriously, I was
it's
so-
a bonus.
I was
It's a
thinking about
disability.
poking out one of my eyes so CBS will hire me.
It's an advantage. I don't know what disability you're talking about.
I know, seriously, it is. But their time has come.
Is that how we're ending?
Their time has
What
come.
a happy ending.
And on that note.